Hi guys, and welcome back to Life with Jojo. If you're new here, my name is Josephine and we're going to be diving into something that is very close to my heart. So guys, grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's talk about how you're going to do this. Because right now I can actually consider myself to be someone that is somewhat sociable, but before now I used to be the quiet, shy little girl who will always be at the side of the room and would rather not have to contribute and just stay out of people's business. But if there's one thing I've learned is that, nothing favors you by being quiet, especially in the workplace. It's like the more quiet and hardworking you are, the less your job gets noticed. So you actually have to become someone who is able to like blow their horn a little bit from time to time and actually just make yourself visible so that when opportunities come up, people would actually think of you and you'd naturally be able to take advantage of those opportunities. So keeping quiet is actually not helpful to anyone at all, except in some instances. And I used to be a quiet person. Like, I've been through that whole issue of like just being quiet and not being able to let other people see what is actually inside of you and who you really are. And I think there's this misunderstanding or misconception people have that like some people are born quiet. I don't believe that, especially as someone who has successfully overcome being quiet. I don't believe anybody's born quiet. I don't even believe there's a personality like quiet. I just feel like people just need to be comfortable and give themselves grace enough to show who they really are. And when people are quiet, it just means that they are in environments where they feel like okay, they cannot be themselves, because no matter how quiet you are, when you're around people that you feel comfortable around, then you start to talk, you open up, and you share your real self. So there's nobody that is quiet. It's just that maybe at a point in time you're in an environment where you're just not open enough, or maybe due to some sort of trauma in the past, you're not just eager to open yourself up to people. But if you're watching this video, it means it's something you want to change about yourself. It's something I personally had to work on. Honestly, I am now someone that talks a lot. In fact, sometimes I just feel today we have to observe a day of silence. Like, let's just keep quiet. Okay. But yeah, to think that I was on the quiet side and now I'm just somebody that's I'm not all over the place, don't get me wrong, but at the same time it's just difficult for me to keep quiet. Like, compared to who I used to be in the past. Like, now I'm going to talk. Even if I don't share my opinion, I'm going to make it obvious that I'm in the room, Like, it's just something that I've learned. But anyways, you're watching this video, it means you want to be able to do the same, and I'm really glad to put you through. So the first thing you need to do is to learn how to greet. And when you're greeting people, don't use a tone that is too professional. Even in professional settings, you want to not create a barrier between you and the person you're greeting. You want to greet them warmly, in a welcoming manner. So even when they are responding, they also respond warmly, and it's like your doors are open to each other. There's a difference between good morning sir and good morning sir. Like, it's welcoming, it's warm. They're able to feel that okay, this person is opening up to me. And there's no how you greet someone like good morning sir, good morning, that they're not going to feel like the warmth coming from you, and they have no choice but to accept that warmth. So in your greeting, you want to do it warmly and you want to smile. I just genuinely believe that when you greet people that way, they would actually be like and they have no choice but to respond warmly back to you. And I said, yeah, it's like that's when their response is like, hi, good morning, how are you? Just your smile has prompted the other person to actually ask you how you're doing, and then you want to respond, oh, I'm doing great, I'm fine. So your greeting is something you actually need to work on. When you're greeting people, you want to greet them warmly. But there's something I'd like for you to note here. Like, this is how you want to greet every single person you come across. For someone who was quiet before, I think I just used to interact with people who were actually within my working space, and I never really bothered myself with like people in other departments or other offices. That is a big mistake. If you want to become someone who is sociable, who is not known in the workplace, and who is able to like have friends in different departments, which is very helpful, by the way. I cannot begin to tell you how helpful that is. The amount of office gist and drama and gossip and even like information you're going to have is on, it's not something you want to like joke with. So it's very important that you're not just greeting people that you work with immediately, but you're also greeting people like around the organization, in different offices, like that. Because then one day when you get the opportunity to work with them, it's going to be much easier, and if they're in an opportunity to help you, they're going to help you. Actually, this video is gradually becoming like a how to get sociable in the workplace video, but I get it. I think that's just what I'm going to make it into. It's going to be how you can become someone who is sociable in the workplace, so that you can enjoy even more benefits and enjoy your working environment. So guys, the second thing you want to work on is your reaction and your contribution to other people's conversations. Like, trust me, before I used to be so focused, laser focused on my system and like working, that I don't even hear the conversations that my co-workers are having. And the result of that is just like, it creates this awkwardness, because when I'm not working and I have to interact with them in one way or the other, it's just so awkward. And yeah, so the time you build that connection and remove that awkwardness is when they're having conversations and you react. So as a quiet person, I know that you're not really going to be quick to want to add to people's conversations, but something you can do is just to react. You know, you can laugh when someone says something that is funny. You can also show that you're engaged and you're part of the conversation by just, you know, leaning forward or just turning your seat to face the person that is speaking, you know. Or you can just even agree to something. Someone can be like, oh, today is very hot, and you're like, oh yes, actually I also think today is very hot, you know, like things like that. And gradually you become to warm up, you start to warm up to the people that are around you, and you start to build this invisible relationship, even though you've not actually had like a deep conversation or anything like that. The third thing you can do is also try to like blend in. I know that in this world today, everybody wants to stand out, but I genuinely feel like if you're someone who works in an organization, or there's just some professions where standing out is actually not the right thing to do. Because when you stand out, I feel like the common natural human response to someone who stands out is like to form a union against that person. So if you're someone who works in an office space and then there are lots of people sharing one office space, standing out is a no. But if you work in like the fashion industry, the creative industry, then making yourself stand out is very important. So it depends on like where you're working, and if you're working in an organization where there are a lot of people, then you want to make it your job to blend in. And how you can blend in is to just observe people, observe the vibe of the office. You want to know, okay, who are these people that I'm working with? You want to know the person who is in charge. That is like the person who generally leads conversation. There's always going to be 2-3 people who are always the ones responsible for creating the mood, the vibe of the office. You want to study them, you want to make sure you're in their good books, and those are the people you want to ensure that you're directly reacting to, because those are the people that would in turn be like in charge of like moving information from one place to another. So you want to get in the good books of those people. And I'm not saying you should do it in a malicious way, like they're just good ways of doing things, because at the end of the day we might call it eye service, but eye service is really good in the workplace. That's what gets you noticed, and that's what gets you popular among like the bosses and all of that. And that thing you want to do is gather information about people. Like I used to say this thing, there is nobody that is not going to be happy feeling like you like when they know that you're genuinely interested in them. Like everybody loves that. Everybody loves to feel special, and the only way you can make them feel special is to show them that you're actually genuinely interested in them. And for crying out loud, there are a lot of people in our lives. There are a lot of people in your workplace, your family, your friends, acquaintances that are not just close, and you cannot please everybody. But one thing that you want to make sure you do in all your conversation and all your relationship is to make the other first person feel special. And how you can do that is just to gather information about the person. Like, you mustn't really ask the person questions, just observe the person. Oh, it seems like this person likes this and this person likes that. And then whenever you have an opportunity to have a conversation, just bring it up. For instance, I'm someone who is interested in fashion, and because of that, I always like look at what people are wearing, and I can definitely tell when you're wearing a color that fits you and when you're wearing a color that doesn't fit you. But I'm not going to come to you when you're wearing a color that doesn't fit you. But when I see that you put on something that is really nice, complementing your skin, and it's like your color, I'll be like, oh, this color is really nice on you. Have you considered like that you might be warm tone or dark tone? I give my own 2 cents about the color combination, and I'm just like, I think if you keep wearing these colors, you're going to be really nice. And the person, and usually the reaction to this is always really nice. I feel like they can tell that I genuinely took my time to think about the outfit and I'm giving them a feedback, and people usually like it, and the reaction is always, oh, that's really nice, I didn't know, I'm going to think about it. And the next day, my I can actually tell from the energy that they're giving that, oh, this person actually now considers me to be someone that's actually somewhat closer to them. So you want to gather information about people, you want to use those information when it comes to your interactions with them, and then you see that gradually you have something to talk about. And once you start talking, there's no end to it. Once you have like 2 3 4 good conversations with somebody, it builds a library, a memory library between you and that person, and subsequent conversations will be about building up and filling that library even more. So guys, last thing you want to start implementing is being intentional in your pursuit of a relationship with people. Like before, I won't say not force things, but it was just like I used to enter a relationship with people like not thinking, not even deciding if I want to get to know this person or not, just to go with the flow, which is okay. But like, I think as we grow up, there's just this need and importance of choosing the people you allow into your life and the people that you call your friend, because at the end of the day, your friends are going to inform the person that you become. So you want to be intentional when it comes to the relationships that you're building. And I know it's very hard as an adult to actually make friends. I myself, it's super difficult, but one way you can do it is, if you find yourself at an event, you can be intentional by saying that, okay, today I'm going to talk to 2 people randomly that I don't know, and I'm going to get to know them and decide if I want them to be in my life, or if I want to move ahead and build a genuine friendship or a relationship with them. So you have to be intentional. Like, you're not going to go from being quiet to sociable overnight. You have to actually set intentional goals. Like, okay, today I'm going to talk to one person in my office. I'm going to have a conversation aside from like the job and the work. It can be around anything. But like, I'm going to put myself out of my comfort zone and I'm going to do this. Or like, when next people are having like a group conversation in the office, I'm going to share my opinion. And then gradually you find that you start to be comfortable with sharing how you feel and who you think you are. And before you know it, you go from being quiet to sociable. And so before that becomes your new personality, you actually have to practice that not just in one setting. So you can take maybe your work setting, your family setting, your church setting. You want to practice that in different settings until you become very comfortable with being like, wow, first meeting people and you're like, this is me, this is who I am. And like, being someone who is sociable and a person of influence doesn't necessarily have to be about like saying everything about yourself on the first day that you meet people. It's not about that. You can have good, genuine conversations without even sharing your opinion about anything. You can have conversations where it's just like you're learning more about the other person. Really, you like this? Oh, I didn't know. And by the way, they said this is this and that is that, and you're not sharing your opinion. You're just like getting to know the other person. And trust me, there is no human being on earth that doesn't like to talk about themselves. So if you're quite shy and reserved, you might want to start with getting to know about the other person, allowing the other person to be the one expressing themselves in the conversation, and the fear of having to put yourself out there would not be there. And yeah, it's be much easier for you. So guys, lastly, I cannot stress enough, it is very important. If you're quiet and reserved, it just means that you're not being yourself. Us human beings have been created to be like really boisterous, full of life, and you're on earth to have a one of a kind experience where you have to just show yourself. Coming from someone who used to be quiet and just be to myself and maybe just have a relationship with one or two people, I won't say it's hard, I would just say it's a very limiting way of living life. And I think you know that, that's why you're watching this video. So take it one step at a time. You can do it. And trust me, just every day step out of your comfort zone, and before you know, you'll be too much of a talkative that no one will be able to stop you. And it's a natural instinct in us. I feel like God naturally created us to take space and be who we want to be. A perfect example is when it comes to kids. If you look at kids when they're growing up, those who grow up to be quiet are those who are often corrected by their parents and put in their place. Well, children whose parents are more like open and allow them to be expressive and not really corrective, you find out that they grow up to be really confident, and then there's no place they're not able to express themselves. So you're naturally someone created to express yourself and be yourself. So please work on it and allow yourself to be the better version of yourself so that you can actually live life and live it to the fullest. Which brings us to the end of this video. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please click on the subscribe button and let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you have any stories to share with us, we'd love to hear them. And until next I have a new video, I'll see you guys. Bye.